I was talking about some of my medical numbers, and I'm going to now give you some resources that I have found over the last week or so, and another story. This past week has not been a good diet week for me. It started with Easter. Of course, you have to have a big meal on Easter, and most people don't feel that you should be alone on Easter, so a wonderful family invited me to come enjoy Easter dinner with them, lunch, the meal after church, whatever you call it in the area of the country you're from. And I got the invitation at work Saturday night, and so I just texted them back. I said, well, I don't even know what time I'll get up tomorrow. Let me play it by ear and get in touch with you in the morning if I get up in time. They were going to have it at 1 o'clock, I believe, and I don't get off work till 11 p.m., so some Sundays I'm not up by 1 a.m. By 1 p.m. I might be going to bed till 1 a.m., which is not necessarily recommended with this program. But I thought that night, I said, if I go, I'm not going to be the stickler and say I can only eat this, this, and this, and kind of ruin the celebration for a family I'm not even a member of. So I said, if I accept this, I've got to kind of eat normal, but I don't have to go heavy on the things I'm not supposed to eat. So I made a conscious choice before I answered that if I said yes, I was going to try to be as normal a person in eating as possible, knowing that it was going to knock my ketosis out, most likely, and that I would have a surge in blood glucose. But I thought the fellowship and the good food would be worth it. Just like I said in another video, if your grandmother if anybody important to you has a birthday party, don't tell them you can't eat the cake. Just eat a little bit and then start over again the next meal. And so that was the approach I took. I texted them back, and I woke up, 11, 12, maybe 12, probably just in time to get ready and get over there. Fortunately, her parents' house was only a mile from my house, so I didn't have a long drive. And when I texted them and said, yeah, I can come, I'm awake, I'm getting ready, she said, well, I'm running a little late, so just when you get there. But she did manage to get there before me. They were still standing in the yard, so it all worked out good. And I did eat kind of what I wanted to eat. I didn't eat everything available, but I did have some mashed potatoes. I did have some corn pudding, or cream corn, or whatever it was. I don't generally eat corn, even before I went on this diet, but that kind of corn probably has a lot of sugar in it. That's why it tastes good. I didn't have big servings of either of those, but apparently the stepmother, whose home it was, makes a fabulous banana pudding, and that was always one of my weak spots. So I did have a serving of banana pudding, and I did have one homemade chocolate chip cookie. And sure enough, when I got home, my blood sugar was off the charts, pretty high. And I only dropped 1 point on the ketos. I was really high that morning, 1.1. 0.5 and above is nutritional ketosis. So I'd only dropped down to 1.0 when I got home. So I thought, I didn't do too bad, but something's got to happen with all this blood sugar. So, of course, the glucose kicked in, the insulin kicked in, and the next morning I was out of ketosis, which is not necessarily uncommon because a lot of times when you prick your finger in the morning, if the dawn effect is working and your cortisol is high, you are going to have a lower ketone reading. So I've learned it's best if you're going to test blood ketones with the blood test, you should do it after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, especially if you sleep as late as I do, because it takes an hour to 2 hours to burn off the cortisol, which kind of burns up the ketones also. But and that was Sunday. And then Wednesday, a church, Christ Chapel Bible Church, a very large church in the city, was hosting a Bless the Blue appreciation dinner for all the officers and all the support staff and all their families, anyone you could bring almost. They've done this every year except the coronavirus. And they give us a wonderful mug each year, so I'm going to show you this one. I don't know if you can read it. It says Bless the Blue 2021, and it's about, I think this is a 12-ounce mug. The last year it was a long, skinny one, which that was 2019. And Speaking of cheating, I have a little bit of the hot chocolate from the machine down in the bistro in our clubhouse with hot chocolate in it, which is about gonna bust my carb total for today. But after this week, I'm not too concerned. I added an ounce of heavy whipping cream to add some fat to it. I've got it sitting on a little heater over there so it stays warm. But every once in a while I get one of those when I get home from work at night because I think the milk and the cream kind of calms you down and helps you sleep. And when I put it in MyFitnessPal, it just got me right up to the 30 carbs for today. When I tested my ketones before I went and got it, they were 0.9. If you don't know what I use to test my ketones and glucose, it's called a Keto Mojo. There's a number or something. But it's a blood glucose and ketone monitor. You get 2 strips, one for glucose, one for ketones, and you prick your finger, get the blood coming out, do 1 strip, let it register, take it out, put the other one in, squeeze your finger again and test that. So that I failed to say that the dinner was at Joe T. Garcia's, a very famous, well-known Mexican restaurant that has about 3 things on the menu. So they had cheese, not tortillas, what do they call those things? Enchiladas, rice and beans. I told them none of that. And they had tacos with beef, like ground beef in it. So I was able to dig that out of the shell, but I tried to cut the tortilla off the enchilada, but it looked like it was just shredded cheese inside and it hadn't melted, so I couldn't see just eating shredded cheese by itself. So I did go ahead and eat some of the tortillas wrapped around the enchiladas and whatever sauce they had on top. That's one thing you got to watch for at restaurants is the sauces. They all have hidden sugars in them. I used saccharin in the tea, didn't put any sugar in the tea, but I did eat one of the sugar cookies on the way out, and then they gave us that glorious milk. And I just want to thank the volunteers from that church. They were all just so wonderful and so loving. They make us feel very blessed every year they do it. And there's a couple other churches that do something similar, generally in their fellowship hall, about once a year. But with the pandemic, most of them haven't done it in a year. So I'm looking forward to getting announcements for some of the other ones. But here again, I can't really partake like I did in the past, which is okay. But I wanted to go over some resources. Dr. Paul Saladino is a YouTube influencer. I think he started in California, but now he lives in Texas. But right now he's in Costa Rica because I don't believe he's practicing at the moment. I don't think he's licensed in Texas yet. But the month of April, he's doing a thing called Animal Based 30, where he has a support group. It's completely free. You can go to the website Animal Based 30, the numbers 30, not spelled out, Animal Based 30, all one word, .com, and go to the register link, and they will send you an email each day, of which they kind of talk about how to get radical on your health. He's all about radical and controversial. He does a podcast called Controversial Thoughts, and he does have some radical and controversial thoughts. And just like everybody, I don't always agree with everything he says. I don't probably won't agree with what I said a year from now. So, because you're learning more every day. But that's one. And then Dr. Eric Westman sent me this. I'm going to tell you how to get your own copy so I don't have to read all through it. Go to adapt, ADAPT, yourlifeacademy.com /subscribe / That's adaptyourlifeacademy.com, subscribe. And then you can get this printout on Dr. Eric Westman's, who's a researcher and doctor at Duke. Top 10 fat loss tips for keto beginners. So if you're new and you don't know where to turn, that might be a good thing. Let me find how to get the camera back up because I can't see myself. Okay, well, here we go. And then the other thing is this book is available called The Paleo Cardiologist by Dr. Jack Wolfson, who is a DO, and his wife is a DC. He chiropractor, and he's not an orthopedic. What do they call it? Osteopathic doctor. So both of them are more holistic. And I started reading this out at the pool today. Yes, it is 83 degrees or 86 degrees in Texas when I was at the pool this afternoon. So I jumped in that 70-some degree water twice. But I got some sun. It boosted my nitrous oxide. It helped develop vitamin D. And if it's warm tomorrow, I'm going to do it again. Apparently they turned the heater off during the big snowstorm, or after the big snowstorm, to fix some things in the pool that maybe the snowstorm messed up. But they haven't turned it back on yet. Maybe they're going to turn it on tomorrow when they clean the pool. I don't know. It's usually closed, technically closed on Monday, but I still go sit out there in the sun, if it's sunny. But I was reading this out there today, and a few things struck me, and I wanted to share them with you. I hope it doesn't violate a copyright to read you a little bit of the book on the air. But like I say, he is a cardiologist. He's a board-certified cardiologist that's in Arizona and has his own private practice at this point because of the way modern medicine works. He didn't want to stay operating under the prescription pharmaceutical system. So here it says, on the following pages you will learn many different ways to prevent disease and stay out of your doctor's office. If you are not in control of your body, who is? ? The more you followed my advice, the better your health. 100% dedication will lead to the best results, but any change you make will lead to a longer life. A lower risk of heart problems and less chance of winding up with dementia or spending your final years in a nursing home. I tell many of my patients it is okay to fall off the wagon once in a while. If you have a bad food day, wake up the following morning and have a good food day. No one can convert to a healthy lifestyle overnight. It takes time, but stay committed and you and your family will reap the rewards of a better life. Like I say, for 10 years he's now been in private practice trying to teach people that you need to get healthy to lose weight. And how do you get healthy? You take away all the things that are poisoning you. The sugar, the wheat, the grains, and the polyunsaturated oils. And the first chapter, which I didn't quite get through because some other residents came down and wanted to chat. I'm going to get through it before I go to bed tonight. It's all about cholesterol. And he's kind of the same opinion of me, is that you really don't need to worry about your cholesterol. That the heart health hypothesis has never been substantially proven or replicated in randomized clinical trials. So all the stuff you're told about cholesterol is generally a bunch of bunk. And here again, I said it in the last part, I'm going to say it again. I am not a medical doctor. You can research this yourself. If you can prove that cholesterol is a problem, especially LDL, please let me know. I know a lot of doctors that would be very eager to hear that. I am not a doctor, but I'd still be very eager to hear it. But then he says in here, he's got a little live well in each paragraph or each chapter or something. Decreasing sugar intake is one of the best ways to control excess cholesterol. Now, he's just spent a whole chapter on saying that cholesterol is not bad. You need it. You need it for testosterone. You need it for the female sex hormones. And he's saying basically don't get on a statin, but then it kind of throws me off. But it's a good point that excess sugar or eliminating sugar does help eliminate excess cholesterol. So in about 2 months, after I've been on Virta for 6 months, they will order a lipid panel. So I'll be able to tell you then exactly what cutting out the majority of the sugar has done to my cholesterol. I expect by the time I have the next test, which won't quite be 6 months from the one I had with the city, although they might have to wait because of insurance, I don't know. I expect my triglycerides will be under 150, and I expect my HDL will be over 40, and I couldn't care less about the rest of them. Oh, the doctors will have a heyday with my high LDL, but it may actually go down on this. I think it goes up initially and then drops, but I couldn't care less what the LDL number was, and I don't care what the total cholesterol number is. I firmly believe that I have found the secret to what caused my arterial sclerosis. And I'm going to blame that on seed oil that's heavily oxidized and tends to cause your cholesterol to oxidize. We all need cholesterol to live. We shouldn't be taking pills to try to stop a natural process. And no, you don't get much from what you eat. You just don't absorb it, is what Dr. Wolfson said today in the book, and lots of other doctors have said it. So I'm going to wrap up this section now so it doesn't go too long. I hope I said something valuable for you. If I did, please make a comment below. And continue the theme if maybe you changed your mind that getting healthy is what will cause you to lose weight, or if you're still thinking that you need to lose the weight to get healthy. Or do they go hand in hand? I mean, by changing my diet, I'm getting healthy, but I'm also losing weight at the same time. But the losing weight isn't causing me to get healthy. The getting healthy is causing me to lose the weight, even though they go hand in hand. And you may not be able to separate them, but I think it matters how we think about it. All my life I've thought I've got to lose the weight, so I've got to exercise. I've got to eat less, walk more, move more, starve myself. But starving yourself and exercising yourself to death is not getting healthy. Changing what you put in changes you from the inside out, and it does help you to get healthy. Thank you. God bless. Please subscribe. Leave me a comment. Whether you like it or you don't, please leave a comment. And hit the like or the dislike button. Either one, I really don't care. Thanks. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.